Hello and welcome to day 8 of my year of gratitude. Back to my channel, Journey Back to My Truth. Today I'm going to be talking about how I make really inexpensive gluten-free flour, and it is ridiculously easy, so I will just get right to it. Here's my secret weapon. Yes, a coffee grinder. Coffee grinder that I got off of Amazon. I think it wasn't expensive. It was less than 20 bucks. I will go ahead and link the exact one I have below. So basically, when I need gluten-free flour, instead of going and paying, what is it, $7, $8 for that little bag, especially because I'm starting to get into using some different rice blends and stuff since we have to eat gluten-free, and I'm learning the different ways to do it. So if I need to use rice flour, if I need to use oat flour, what I will do, instead of paying the $5, $6 for a bag of that, or the $7 for the one-on-one, I will buy a bag of rice, for gluten-free rice, for like what, $7 for 20 pounds, and this little guy right here. And I just grind it as I need it, so by the cup or whatever. This little guy is really nice because he comes apart, so put as much as you need in, and he's not real large, so sometimes I'll need to do 2 or 3 times to get my cup or 2 cups or whatever I need. But he comes apart to wash, and then he just sticks right back in here. Easy peasy. And the lid on top. And that's all there is to it. He's got a super short cord, which is a little annoying, but I mean, considering I only use it to grind and then wash it up right away and put it back, that is my trick. So buy gluten-free oats, which the gluten-free oats are a little bit more expensive, but I'm not messing around when it comes to gluten-free. I've absolutely been cross-contaminated by regular oats, so gluten-free oats definitely the way to go. And then the rice, which I don't really have issues with rice. I don't pay extra for the gluten-free rice usually. If you're celiac or whatever, you might need to, or you can just try the regular rice and see if you react. We don't, just the regular off-the-shelf rice works for us. I don't think that rice tends to be cross-contaminated as much as oats, but oats very much get cross-contaminated with wheat, so you end up with a lot of gluten issues with that. So that's my little trick. Super easy. Whip that up, grind it until it's really fine. Another little tip that I learned when you're doing gluten-free baking, because a lot of times it tastes gritty, the trick to that is to go ahead and let it sit. So you mix everything up, and then you just let it sit for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And so what ends up happening is while it sits there, the moisture gets absorbed into the rice or those grains, and then when you bake it, it's smooth. So you mix it up completely, the batter, and then instead of putting it, pour it in the cake pan, everything. Instead of putting it into the oven, let it sit. And then put it in the oven after it has that rest period, and your gluten-free items will be so much less gritty. As far as things that are going on right now, this is one of the fun things I'm growing, is my turmeric. If anybody knows any tricks for this, let me know. I've been growing this thing for 2 months now. They said to put it in a good soil and cover it with, or water it, and then cover it with plastic so it stays damp, and then keep it in a warm place. So it's been in my greenhouse, and I just went to go get it out today. Let me see if I can. Ooh, he feels like it might have finally, yeah, he did. He finally started putting down roots. Oh, look at that little guy. Oh, and there's even a sprout. Ah! It's been 2 months, so I do have one little root here and one little sprout, and it looks like, let me see. Yep, there's a couple little roots on the side as well. Well, good deal. So he finally was sprouting, but it's been forever. That's all the further I've gotten with the turmeric. So I have a feeling that's not going to be done in this season. That's going to be an inside plant this winter. Other than that, my daughter was in a pageant today. It was hard to watch her because she was dealing with so much back pain, her nerve pain, and she, is struggling with all the anxiety and the OCD and that sort of stuff, and the extra stress. I really think she has a histamine allergy, and because I've noticed when she has stress, her symptoms get worse, which if the histamines are setting it off, that would make sense. And stress apparently can release histamines. I'm still learning about all of this. So if I'm not exactly correct, please let me know in the comments below, because it's a big old learning curve. But I noticed that the more stress she got, the worse her symptoms are starting to come up, as well as the fact that she had to use a special conditioner on her hair, you know, so it wasn't so frizzy, because we use the Dr. Bronner's, the hemp soap, which is very natural, and nobody seems to react to that, and I feel like it's really reduced our toxin load since using it. So that's what she uses now, but it does not make for great hair. It cleans it, it gets, you know, the oils out, but it's not pretty and silky. So I bought some of the fancy shampoo and conditioner for her to use, and she did, but by now tonight she's starting to have reactions here, and you can see her face is starting to break out with rash, and she's starting to get increased behavior. So I know that stuff affects her. Plus we had to use makeup, and already, I mean, she had the makeup on 3 hours, and already she's starting to get like rashes. She just reacts to everything now, poor kid. But anyway, so she was up on stage, she got up, she spoke, she did beautifully, and then they had to wait a really long time. They had like an intermission thing, and then the judges wanted to see them again. And I saw her on stage before the intermission when they had him come and do their final walk, and she's standing there going, and I actually think it was a tick starting, and she didn't look great. I mean, she was giving it her best, but she didn't look great. And so I went backstage, and they tried to shush me out, but I explained to the lady who was in charge there that, you know, my child was having some medical issues and I needed to be there, and they very kindly let me in with her, and we stood just outside the door, and the lady brought this little fan thing because she felt like she was going to pass out, and I mean, she just was not doing well, and I asked her about it, and she said that sometimes she loses feeling in her face, and she was losing feeling, so she can't tell if she was smiling or not. And sometimes when she smiles, only half of it smiles, like somebody who had a stroke or Bell's palsy. And so she was just glad that her whole face was smiling. But it was definitely up and down because she didn't have feeling, and what feeling she did had hurt. And then the longer she stood there in the heels and the dress, then her nerve pain in her back from when she had the lumbar puncture blood patch was getting worse and worse too, and she felt like she was going to pass out. And so I'm sitting there back, I was like, we can go home at any time. And she was just like, no, I don't want to, I want to try to make it through. And so they called her back on stage, and then they went in the back again, and she was just getting worse by the minute. And so I finally was like, let me go get the car. And she's like, yeah, okay, go do that, because if they call us back again, I'm not going to make it. And so by the time I got the car and came back, they had already called the girls back on stage just for the announcements. And so she stood there for the announcements, and sadly, she didn't place or win, which I think she should have, because she did phenomenally, but she didn't. But we had to leave immediately, came home, and she's crashed in the house because it was just too much for one day. So yeah, other than that, we were just now, I have given her as much medication as I can, and we'll see how she is tomorrow. Now, as far as my gratitude for the day, we need to get a new roof, and the insurance company had issued a check to us, of course, and then co-wrote my mortgage on it. So I went to the bank to get it signed, and for whatever reason, the bank can't sign it. Get this. We have to wait for them to mail us a form, fill out the form, mail the signed check back to them, wait for them to approve it. Then they're going to do an inspection, and then they'll release 25% to the contractor, and then do another inspection, then 50%, then another inspection, then the last 25%. And the money is not like deposited in my account. It's going to be mailed to me. Sometimes I don't know. I feel like things are more difficult than they really need to be. Like, why could they not just sign this check, let me pay my contractor, and they could start in 2 weeks like they wanted to? Instead, this is going to be a whole drawn-out thing. So the guy at the bank was very sweet. It wasn't his fault for sure. He talk them into faxing him a form, so hopefully that'll come on Monday and beat the mail. They still said it'd be a couple days. And then additionally, he got a phone number for me to call with my contractor so we can talk this out and see if there's any way we can get it done sooner. So that's on the books for this coming Monday. Hopefully I'll be able to, because we also have the immunology appointment in town an hour over on Monday. So that's what's going on here, but he definitely went above and beyond and was so kind and did everything he could to make the process better. So my bank guy, who I know him because we've seen him a bunch of different times, so he knows me by name. Like, I definitely want to just give him a thank you. So that will be my gratitude for the day. Anyway, I hope you all are well and having a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.